I'm going to assume that you clicked on this video because you are somebody who used to be a different guy. You used to be somebody who was out of shape. Maybe you were poor. Maybe you had these insufficiencies that you were not happy with, not proud of, and you decided to make some changes. And this led to you dropping some of your old friends, dropping some bad habits, focusing on you just improving yourself every single day. And what happens is, when you decide to improve yourself, you got these old friends who may be stuck in some of these same old ways. And then you have the level you want to be on. Those guys that are really killing it, man. They're either they're successful entrepreneurs or they're ripped to shreds. You know, they're working out every single day. They're hyper disciplined. They're achieving these big goals. But you are not on that level yet to where those people that are above you would actually want to associate with you. And then those old friends are simply not trying to do what you're trying to do. They're not ready to lock in. They're not ready to develop themselves to the point where they can also get to that level. So you're stuck in this middle part, this middle scene where you're just lonely as hell, bro. There's not another word for it. I mean, you're just lonely. For me, this started about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. So I invested in a mentor, started my online coaching business, and focused on making money, improving myself, every insufficiency that I had, whether it was my health. I wasn't in the best physical condition. I was still fit, but not as fit as I wanted to be. I didn't have as much money as I wanted. I wasn't as disciplined as I know I needed to be. So I just started improving myself. So this meant I had to drop a lot of bad habits. I had to learn some new skills, man. I had to focus on improving myself every single day. And a lot of those old friends I had that were still doing some of those same things, I had to lean away from them. So it led to this period of isolation. And in this video, I want to talk about how I'm navigating this journey, what I'm doing to kind of help me on this journey, what I'm doing to keep myself locked in, keep myself motivated throughout the lonely path so I can eventually get to the level, get to the lifestyle that I want to be living. Because I know there are several other guys out there just like me who are on the same journey who are struggling to navigate this process. So for those first 6 months when I started to try to develop myself, started focusing on self-improvement and just becoming the best version of me, you know, I kind of told the line. You know, I wanted to do this thing, you know, I had this new identity I wanted to really dive into, but I just told the line. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, part of me wanted this new life, but at the same time, I was connected to those old ways. You know, it was fun, you know, drinking. It was fun going to parties. It was fun hitting on girls and stuff. Not hitting on girls, but like, you know, flirting with girls and stuff like that. You know, that stuff was fun. So I wasn't quite ready to leave it. After about 6 months, I really started to lock in, and I completely locked out, cut out everyone, right? And I had like 1 or 2 people that I really communicated with outside of my family. But even then, I didn't communicate with them very much. This is where the true lonely chapter began. And for me, things got a lot worse before they got better, right? And I think most people quit. You know, this is where most people realize, okay, maybe it's not worth it, because it gets so freaking lonely, bro. It gets so lonely, and you feel like it may not be worth it, right? A lot of your friends, that people you thought were your friends, will become haters. You'll have some true friends that'll see you working, that see you grinding, and they respect it, right? Those are the real OGs. But you'll find that a lot of your friends, or at least for me, they become your haters. They're laughing at you, like, look at you, you know, what is he doing? He's posting on social media. What he's not going to parties anymore? Like, he's lame. What is he doing? Who does he think he is? They become haters. They start to despise you. And the thing that I realized is that the people who were talking down to me, the people that were hating on me, really that was their way of coping, because they were too afraid to put themselves in the fire and go for something they truly wanted to do. So instead of trying to elevate themselves, they want to tear you down to their level. And I'm not saying that I cut off all of my friends. I still have friends that I love dearly to this day, but you have to accept that most of your friends aren't going to want to be on the same level that you want to do. You're not going to have the same path, the same vision for your life, and you have to accept that. And you can try to bring them along with you. You can try to fight and press them to, let's go, let's do this, let's get in the gym, you know, let's start that business. You can press them all you want to, but the truth is, inside of their head, they're gonna have to make a flip themselves and decide that they want something better. If not, you gotta let them go. And for me, that was pretty much all of my friends. Like I said, they're still my friends. I still talk to them. Like, we're still love them to death, but we're on different life paths, and it sucks. But this is just how it is if you want to get to another level of life. And what made it so hard for me personally, and maybe some of you guys out there too, my family doesn't quite understand why. Like, they don't understand why I'm doing this. They don't understand why I can't just get a normal job. Like, I have a college degree. I've had very good sales jobs. Like, and I could at any time go back and get another sales job and just start stacking bread and come back to this later. I could always do that. And I'm not saying I never will go back to doing that again. But for me, I'm after something different. I'm after this level of freedom and power that I know I'll never get with a job. And I have this thing inside of me that I feel like I was destined. I feel like that I am the one in my family that's going to change the bloodline. I feel like all the pressure is on me. I feel like God put me on this planet to make the change. I'm looking around me and my family, all they want me to do is be happy. All they want for me is to be happy. And maybe that's your family too. They don't want you to take a risk. They don't want you to put yourself in difficult situations. They don't want you uncomfortable, but you're gonna have to be a man. Same thing I'm telling myself. I'm making this video right now, but really it's a message back to me because I'm in this chapter right now myself as I'm making this video. But you're gonna have to, at some point, say that nobody's gonna understand what I'm doing. Nobody's gonna be cheering for me until I actually make it. Everybody's gonna think I'm crazy. Everybody's gonna think I'm a loner. Some people are gonna think you're a loser, and that's okay, you know? But coming from where I come from, the bar is low. Nobody in my family went to college. As a matter of fact, both of my parents did not graduate from college. My siblings graduated from high school. They did not go to college. So for me, just going to college, getting my degree was success. That was success to them, you know, then getting a good job. That was success. You know, just having a corporate job was like extreme out of this world success. Nobody in my family, not even like cousins, like nobody in my distant family has done what I have done. So the bar was just set so low. So when I'm talking about quitting a 6-figure job, or when I quit my 6-figure job to move to one of my dream cities and a more vibrant, active city to pursue this vision I have, everybody thought I lost my freaking mind. And like, this is where like the severe loneliness kicks in, because you have this turn back moment. You have this turn back moment where it's like, do I quit now? Like, do I just go back to getting the bag in with the boys? Do I go back to partying every single weekend, wasting my life away, just chilling, watching movies all day long, chasing hoes? Do I just go back to this old version of me that honestly had way more fun? Like fun as far as like, you know, the culture we live in right now. Fun is just hedonistic fun, right? Do I go back to that? Do I hang it up? Do I stop here? Can I accept any more misery? Is this as far as I can go? And yeah, those are tough questions to ask. And this is the turn back moment where most people, 99% of people, if you get past that first 6 months and, you know, you don't turn back then. For me, this is 2.5 years later, and the turn back moment is here again for me. And the things I'm telling myself, there's 2 main quotes that are keeping me pushing through this lonely chapter. And one is a quote by Chris Williamson. And he's talking about the Rocky cutscene. Everybody knows the movie Rocky, boxing movie, OG Sylvester Stallone. And you know, the Rocky cutscene when he's training to fight Adonis Creed, and he's running down the streets, and people are, you know, first, you know, he was struggling, poor boxer, but he's running down the street, he's training, he starts to gather this crowd. Eventually he makes up to the top of the steps, and then everybody's cheering for him. And in this movie, the Rocky cutscene is like 5 minutes. He's going through this montage of fighting and proving himself it's like so quick. And then Chris Williamson says, and I'm paraphrasing here, he says, your Rocky cutscene in the movie lasts 5 minutes, but in real life it can last 5 years. And the second quote is by Alex Ramosi, and it's really more of a mindset shift. But he says, this is a story that I will one day tell. When things aren't going my way, instead of saying poor me and quitting, I say, this is a story that I will one day tell. So this is what I do for myself. Every bad thing, every difficult situation, every failure, I reframe it as this is a story that I will one day tell. If you did not have all these bad things happening, you would have no story to tell. Whether you get your heart broken by some girl, you know, someone in your family dies and your business fails, no matter what it is, if you can just tell yourself that this will be a part of the story that I will one day tell, you will be able to keep moving forward, because every bad thing that happens adds to the fuel, adds to the meat of your story. You're writing a book across your life. At the end of your life, the more bad things that happen to you, the more uncertainty you dealt with, the more difficulty and discomfort you dealt with throughout your journey, the deeper and the stronger your story. So for me, it's like every failure I have, every time I go through something that most people could not endure, I'm like, this is part of the story that I will one day tell. That reframe on reality, that reframe on my circumstances, what keeps me moving forward day after day. Now, right now, I'm at the point where I've just started to gain some support. You know, social media is really kicking off. People are cheering for me. I'm starting to get a few people in the stands. You know, in the beginning, it's just you in the stands. You're the only one cheering for yourself. But right now, I've started to get a little bit of people cheering for me. They're starting to believe in me. They're like, look at Elijah. He's doing this. He's doing that, man. He's starting to kill it. You know, he's making money. He's doing this thing. What I'm realizing is that what I thought I wanted was actually what somebody else told me I wanted. It wasn't what I truly wanted. And it's taken me 2.5 years now, almost 2.5 years now to realize this. And what this means for me is that another deeper, lonely chapter is coming. But now I think I've realized my true mission. I think my true mission is just helping young men navigate this difficult journey of life. Right? There's a lot of things we go through, a lot of things that are uncertain, a lot of paths we could take, and there's a lot of fluff out there that are telling people to do this or do that. And I want to give information to young men, men in their teens, 20s, maybe low 30s, the real information. And I know there's going to be people that used to be supporters that are going to turn enemies again. They're going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you posting that? And what are you talking about? And that's okay. This is not the first time I've been through this. So completely prepared for that. But this YouTube channel is going to be my public journal. I'm going to be posting my entire journey, documenting the entire process. And in most of my videos, I'll be educating you guys on different ways to improve yourselves. But there'll be some videos where it's just documentation, talking about what I'm experiencing right now, how I'm building this new business, or how I'm growing this next venture, how I'm leaning into the vision I have for myself, right? And hopefully you guys can learn something along the way. But if you did watch to the end of this video, I hope you got something out of it. And if you're on that lonely chapter, bro, I know it's hard, I know it's lonely, and I know you're probably thinking about turning back right now. That's why you're watching this video. But bro, just keep pushing, bro. The level you want to get to is there. If anybody you've seen on social media, if anybody's content, if anybody you admire has done it, it is possible for you. Stop thinking that you're this unique person and everybody else who's doing something, they're special. We're all human, bro. And if anybody out there has something you want, you can have it too. And you're in this pivotal moment where you can turn back. You can go back to getting a bag in with the boys. You can go back to partying every single weekend. You can go back to chasing girls and doing hedonistic stuff. You can absolutely do that. And if you do that right now, the level you want to be on, the people you want to surround yourself with, the success you want to have will never be attainable. So stay on the path. All the setbacks you have, reframe them as a story that you will someday tell. You're in your rocky cutscene, bro. And this could last 1 year, this could last 5 years, this could last 10 years. But you gotta be willing to stick it out, bro. But look, I'm here for you. I'm in the trenches with you. I appreciate you watching to the end of this video. I hope you come back again. Let's go.